Synopsis. It's a race to see who's the first to get a brain freeze, but then the guys hear crying, and are hit with the harsh reality of children crying because their dreams don't come true. Holy fuck, who wrote this? The same guy who wrote one of my favorite episodes? That's some real shit, and I respect that. Turns out Camille also has to leave because she hasn't had an acting job in 6 months. But before the guys can react, they finally get that brain freeze. After the guys recover, they ask if she's serious, and she explains that her dad's making her move back to Connecticut. Kelly shows up to bring the guys to the studio to discuss their first ever music video. Wait, didn't they canonically film a video for Shot in the Dark? A bit of an oversight, but hey, considering the rest of this episode has been phenomenal so far, and it's only been the first 3 minutes, I'll let it slide. The boys make it their mission to get Camille a part in their video, and meanwhile she goes to stall her dad. The boys all go to Gustavo and talk over each other to see if they can get Camille a part in the video, but considering the video doesn't even have a director yet, they can't write a cast list. First, they meet with Tommy Wiseau from Big Time Photoshoot, Ron Holsey's previous episode. And he basically gives them the perfect pitch, or the first part of a pitch. Gustavo informs the guys that now that they're famous, people will ask them for favors, much like Tommy trying to ask Gustavo to be able to direct the video. Gustavo breaks Mr. Wiseau's heart, and says the boys need to go fire Camille. At Palmwoods Park, however, Mr. Bitters isn't letting the kids play there, because he doesn't want them to get too close to his car. Wait, why did he park on the grass anyway? The boys don't have the heart to tell Camille they couldn't get her a part in the video, and it looks like the Jennifers are in the same situation. But it turns out they're just lying to get a part in the video, which Carlos agrees to. Finally, Joe comes out with a suitcase, and Kendall immediately jumps in saying that she can have a part in the video.
I was just gonna see if you could fix this squeaky wheel, but... Thanks!
This leads to them coming up with a plan to put everyone in the background as an extra.
Yeah, that is acting, right?
Yes!
Not gonna lie, that might be the best joke in the entire series right there. Sadly, it looks like the next director has a completely different plan in mind, as he wants a video with them and nobody else. The guys gaslight Gustavo into imagining a terrible video, and they basically have to turn down every single director because for whatever reason they all decided to compare notes that day. Wiseau shows back up though, but he clearly doesn't understand the idea of an elevator pitch. Mr. Bitters is trying to get the ladies with his car, but enough foreshadowing, as we cut to the guys' apartment, as they struggle to think of a possible director, when Buddha Bob walks in right through the front door. They give him a false resume, and he tries to pitch the video to Gustavo. He has a good start, but when Gustavo asks him to elaborate, I don't think they believed they'd get this far. The guys mime the rest of the pitch to Buddha Bob, and Gustavo loves it. However, right as things seem to be going right, he gives away that he's actually a janitor, and their cover is blown. Gustavo tells them to go fire all their friends, but...
Okay, don't cry. You're in the video. Don't go anywhere, you're in the video. Hey, you, brown shirt, guess what? You're in! Who wants to be in our video? You do, you're in. Okay, you can be in it too. All right, you're in the video. Guess what? You're in, all right. Guys.
They are really bad at this.
We are really bad at this.
Yep.
I swear I wrote that in the script before he said it. All the actors show up at their apartment to find out what the situation is, and the guys have to lie through their teeth about what it's about. They basically flesh out Tommy's pitch, and everyone's on board. Back at the studio, though, Gustavo comes to the conclusion he's going to direct it himself, and based on his explanation, it'll probably look worse than the boys' video, which actually looks like a pretty decent idea. Honestly, trim it to a 4:3 aspect ratio and call it a stylistic choice. Nobody understands the art of the video, though.
I guess you guys aren't ready for that yet. But your kids are gonna love it.
And the guys finally have to spill the truth. And while everyone's disappointed, they acknowledge how sweet the gesture is. The boys catch Tommy Wiseau moving into the Palmwoods, and he tells them, while he didn't like their video, he enjoyed the concept, and now they're working together. They put a list of things they need together, and it's lucky that all of that's being used for Gustavo's crappy video as well, or else they'd be SOL. The one thing left they need is a car, which Katie can get for them. They lock Mr. Bitters in the trunk, and the guys are able to trick Gustavo just long enough to convince the crew to go to the Palmwoods to film their music video. Everything works out perfectly. Gustavo congratulates everyone, buys Bitters' car from him to give it to the guys as a reward, and the guys drive off into Hollywood. Thoughts?
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
This is everything that's great about this show. Thanks for redeeming yourself, Ron. First of all, this demonstrates the genius of a musical TV show, as this was a real music video that tied in with the show, and used the entire cast. They used the show as a way to promote their music, and used the music as a way to promote their show. It's synergy. And I wish more bands did this, specifically on more of a mature level, as a lot of these shows are geared towards children or at most teenagers. Big Time Rush was one of the only ones smart enough to bridge the gap between that demographic and adults, simply by trying to be a remake of The Monkees. The only other modern one I could think that maybe did something like this was the show Reba, but I felt like that was more geared towards an adult audience rather than being an all-ages show. But hey, maybe that show's good, I actually haven't seen it. From the first couple minutes, you can actually tell this episode's gonna be special, and it definitely did not disappoint. The way they deal with the mature theme of dreams not coming true is something you really don't see in a lot of kids shows. Too often they try to teach the lesson of follow your dreams, do what you want to, and everything will just work out fine. But for the very same reason that the first episode of Pokemon worked so well.
Well, if you just try hard enough, things will work out, won't they?
No, Ash, I'm afraid things won't just work out if you try hard enough.
They don't hold back here, and it makes it much more memorable for that. While I think I still like Big Time Terror more just because of how that one handled all the characters and their relationships to one another, this one's definitely my number 2 spot, and I hope to get more episodes like this in Season 2. Diamond Record. Trivia. This was the second episode advertised as a special, and in my opinion, it definitely earned it more than Big Time Sparks did. This one actually felt like a special, despite also being a 22-minute episode. This episode's also the debut of the Big Time Rushmobile, the car bought by Gustavo at the end of the episode. And after this episode, it appears in a whopping total of 0 episodes! Wait, what was that last part? Well, I did have to do some digging to find this trivia myself. I should credit my sources. I got most of this information from the Big Time Rush fan wiki, specifically the blog Big Time Video. If you want to fact check me, feel free to do so in the comments below, and if it's a big enough slip up on my part, I'll try and have your comment penned, assuming I haven't already done that to someone else. Alright, all that's left is the finale. Let's hope it's a performance we'll never forget.
When the window blew out, I fell, cut myself. As the blood spilled, I was helpless, nearly killed. Your actions, they did curse me, and yet your lies still hurt me. One heart for whole beings.